What's going on, everybody? So I thought I'd take a break from doing Criterion Corner videos and new releases to talk about another film I saw on Shudder. So Shudder did a release not too long ago where they put out a bunch of sort of like extremist films that are really violent or brutal or disturbing. And one of the films that I've heard talked about quite a bit that I had not seen was a movie called Hounds of Love. And this is one that I've read multiple reviews of. People who say it's disgusting, it should have never been made, why would someone want to put this on screen? And then you have some people who say it's a brilliant film looking at terrible people, understanding the minds of a psychopath. I'm a person who I'm all about you can use disturbing information or put disturbing things on a screen if there's an artistic intent to it. And I feel like this movie does a good job portraying these terrible and horrific things in a way that kind of brings empowerment to the character who suffered these traumas. And I'll get into that in the review. Hounds of Love is directed by Ben Young. When Vicky Maloney is randomly abducted from a suburban street by a disturbed couple, she soon observes the dynamic between her captors and quickly realizes she must drive a wedge between them if she is to survive. We're introduced early in the film to our lead character, Vicky, who is living with her dad. She lives in this very wealthy area. Her dad is very successful and her parents have split up. Her mom has decided that the relationship isn't working between the two of them. And so she leaves, and her mom lives in kind of a bad part of town where when she drives to her house, you can tell it's not nearly as nice as where her dad lives, and they have split custody between her. And so she goes to visit her mom, and she doesn't really want to be around her mom because she feels like her mom has made this selfish decision to kind of leave the family and doesn't quite understand why she has done the things that she's done. She goes to her house and she gets into it and she decides she's going to walk there, and she's walking and you hear all this stuff in the background. This couple pulls up in a car and says, "Hey, where are you going? Do you need a ride?" She's like, "No, it's not that far." And she asks them how to get to a specific place. And then when they find out she's going to a party, they tell her that they have weed at their house that they can sell to her that she can take to the party. And so she gets in the car with them, drives to their house. She's outside with the woman. They're talking to each other, and he goes in to get the weed for him. And something happens where he's on the phone, and then the lady's like, "Hey, let's go in the house," or whatever. And they end up kidnapping her and tying her down to their bed. And what you get is this information, especially conveyed earlier on in the film, that these people are kidnapping women and killing them. And they get some sort of sick, sadistic pleasure out of killing these women. And you can tell the man's intent to it is he's very much set on sexually assaulting and raping these girls. And for the wife, it's not about that. It seems for her that it's more about like the thrill of kidnapping these people and doing something horrible and trying to dive into their psyche. But what you get is this young girl is put into this horrible situation. She has these two people, she doesn't know where she is, and she's sort of seeing how they interact with each other from the outside and seeing if she can kind of wedge her way in there to break the two of them apart to escape. And that's mostly what the film is at its core, is this young girl trying to get out of the grasp of these two horrible people. I really enjoyed this. I thought the performances were all really incredible, especially the lead actress who plays this young girl. You have to have a fierce performance, great acting capabilities to portray this person who's going through this really horrific kind of events. And she goes through some terrible things in this movie. And then the husband and wife couple give great performances. They're both super disturbed individuals who are committing some heinous and awful crimes. The man especially is one of the most vile and disgusting humans I've ever seen in a movie. It's really interesting to see why they're doing this, and watching the woman feel pulled in two directions where there's times you can tell she feels bad about it, but he's very manipulative and can make her kind of jump right into it. But I don't want to excuse her of what she's doing because she's still making these horrible decisions. It's really interesting to see sort of that dichotomy of the two characters' brains. And then you have on the outskirts, once she disappears, they make her write a letter to her mom that she's like ran off and wants to go live on her own, and that she'll write letters around Christmas. They tell her that it's going to be a ransom note and that they're going to eventually start asking her dad for money, and that's the reason why they're doing it. But I don't think that that's the reason why they're doing it, but it helps them survive. At first, as a human instinct would have it, she just wants to get out. So she makes some mistakes to try to get away really quickly, and it kind of pisses those people off and makes it more difficult for her. But then watching the really intellectual decisions that she has to make to kind of manipulate the two of them to get her way out of there. So yeah, this movie is incredibly suspenseful. It's, you just want her to get out of this situation, which is what makes it so hard to watch. You see her going through this terrible set of events, and you understand that these are not good people, they're terrible people, and you really want her to get away. And so you're constantly, as an audience member, being pulled to like, please get out, please get out. I really liked that about this film. I think it has some pacing issues at certain parts, and there's some scenes that could have been trimmed down, but for the most part I thought this was a really effective film that displayed the psychology of these really disturbed characters, and it was a really unique and interesting watch. So have you seen Hounds of Love? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below and let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was really good. I thought it had great performances, good cinematography, and a really intense plot. As always, if you like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. Constantly putting out new videos, and I'm looking forward to getting more out in the very near future. As always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.